and I'm so just excited to be here. You know, we would love to be face to face and giving high fives and hugs, but I'm also thankful for this technology that we can be together somewhat like this and at least see faces. So I just said it a few minutes ago, but if you can turn that camera on, this is not a webinar. We want you to be present. We want to see your face. We want to be able to chat. And it's okay. Everyone is welcome. If you have a costume, you're welcome. If you don't have a costume, you're welcome. Come on in. It's fine. You don't have to feel the shame of being the one without a costume at that costume party, because we're not really together. We're virtual, so it's all good. But I'm excited to see those that dressed up that are eager to win some sweet prizes. So, you know, for those that have been coming to Creative Mornings for years, you know that our mission is to inspire and connect the creative community here in Atlanta, because we love our city and we want to see the city get better. And we think that the creative class has a big role to play in that. So thanks for being a part of that. Thanks for supporting Creative Mornings for all of these years. And we're really just excited to continue this community, even though we're in a pandemic and we can't physically be together. And so today we're going to talk about transit. That's our theme. And transit is a good topic for Atlanta to talk about. We have some challenges when it comes to transit as a city. And I don't know about for you all, but some of the silver lining with COVID, you know, and back in April when everything was in lockdown, when you're out of your house walking around, me and my son would go ride bikes. It was kind of magical. Like, it was this weird utopian thing in the city where you could ride your bikes in the middle of the street and feel safe. Now there was a deadly virus out trying to get us all, but it felt like this beautiful utopia. And I think we all got a little bit of a glimpse of what it could be like to have safer streets in our city. And that's been one thing that's been really, you know, profound, I think, in some of this lockdown with COVID. And so we're going to talk more about transit today. I'm excited about our guest, Rebecca Cerna, the executive director for Atlanta Bicycle Coalition. She is a transit rock star. I asked everyone around who would be the best person to share on transit, and her name came up over and over and over again. So I'm excited to have her here today. Next up is our costume contest. I am so excited about this. I love costume contests in general. I love Halloween. I feel like it's the creatives' time to shine. We get to get our crafts out. We get to show off our skills. We, for once, get to be the hero at that party and walk in and wow everyone with our thoughts, with our execution, with our details. And this is kind of fun because it's a whole new venue. I've been dressing up for Halloween for a long time, and I have never been able to think about a virtual backdrop or just waist up costume. And so it's kind of a fun new context and criteria to think about. And I'm excited to see who wins today. So we know that not everyone wants to dress up at 9 a.m. I get that. So we sweetened the deal a little bit with a chance to win an Edison cargo bike, which we will give away today at the end of the event. So closer to 10 a.m., we're going to give away Edison's brand new cargo bike. They are literally launching this new product line today with Creative Mornings. The retail value is $3,299. It's an amazing bike. It can get 25 plus miles on the charge. It can haul 400 pounds. It can handle the Atlanta hills. No other bike can do that. To win the Edison bike, just because you win the costume contest does not mean you're going to win the Edison bike. I want to be clear and manage expectations so no one gets the feelings hurt. But you will get 25 extra entries and Godspeed that you win. Also, second place is going to get a $50 DoorDash card, and third place, well, you're going to get third place. So congrats. So go ahead and do that. Take a minute, enter if you have not already. And a couple other things. I would like for next up to invite someone very special to read our Creative Mornings Manifesto. We've started doing this lately. This is sort of our central belief statement, and a person on our team who helps out a lot behind the scenes with Creative Mornings, Malik Falk, we're going to pass the mic to read. And I have a fun little game before we do that. Malik gave me 2 truths about him. I'm going to read them, and I've included a lie, and I want you in the chat to try to guess what the lie is. The first person to get the lie right, I'm going to give a Creative Mornings t-shirt to. So, okay, here are the three statements. One of these is a lie, 2 of which are true. Malik can play 4 instruments. Malik cried for an hour after Toy Story 4. Malik won the Paulding County Watermelon Eating Contest in 2014. Okay. Drop in those chats. See what the lie is. Malik will reveal the lie after he reads the manifesto. So go ahead and take it over, Malik.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. We have a lot for watermelon. I definitely cried after Toy Story 4. Hate to tell y'all that. And watermelon is the correct answer. You're right. I'm not a great eater at all. So good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you all. Love the costumes. And I'm just going to read this Creative Mornings Manifesto. Everyone is creative. A creative life requires bravery and action, honesty and hard work. We are here to support you, celebrate you, and encourage you to make the things you love. We believe in the power of community. We believe in giving a damn. We believe in face-to-face connections and learning from others in hugs and high fives. We bring together people who are driven by passion and purpose, confident that they will inspire one another and inspire change in neighborhoods and cities around the world. Everyone is welcome. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of this presentation today, and happy Halloween, everyone.
Hey y'all, good morning. Thank you, Malik. That was amazing. Every time it gets to like the we give a damn, I always feel like, yes, we do. Yes. All right, we want to thank our global sponsors. We would not be able to do this without them. So we want to thank MailChimp, Creative Mornings official global partner for marketing. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Also, make sure you check out Essentials, which is made in collaboration between Vice and MailChimp. And Essentials provides a glimpse into how small businesses around the US are finding ways to cope and navigate and innovate during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so make sure you check out that link, and you will see all of these links I'm talking about will appear in your chat if you get curious and want to click on them. We also want to thank Basecamp, our global partner for project management, and we want to give a shout out to their new email platform. Hey, that's not just a greeting, people. That is a thing you can do with Basecamp, okay? So make sure you check out their new Basecamp's love letter to email on a new episode of Rework. Okay, so you can check out the link to that in the chat as well. Not only do we have amazing global sponsors, but we also have fantastic local sponsors. We want to thank Matchstick. Matchstick is a branding firm here in Atlanta, and our team members, Blake, Andrew, and Malik, work there. They are part of that team. So Matchstick has been our producing partner since the beginning of Creative Mornings Atlanta. So we are very thankful for Matchstick. Definitely check out matchstick.com for more information about them. Also, we want to thank C Spark Go. They run all of our chapters' social media. Okay, so any of the things you're seeing on our socials, it's because of the amazing folks at C Spark Go. So if you need help with socials, digital marketing, PR, they are your people. Talk to them. They'll give you all the information. Okay. Also, we want to thank Edison, an Atlanta-based electric bike company. You've already heard a little bit about Edison with our giveaway today. So if you also want to be involved in transit and being able to make Atlanta a city that has better transit, you should check out Edison too. Even if you don't win, it's okay. You can go to their website. You can see about a bike for yourself. Okay. Now, we are going to go into breakout rooms. Introverts, I want you to just get a little breath right here. Okay, it's like you can do it. Okay, you can do it. We're gonna go into these breakout rooms. It's gonna be amazing. All right. So when we go into our breakout rooms, you're gonna get a chance to say hi to a few folks. You're gonna get several minutes in the breakout room. Okay, so this is what you're gonna talk about when you get in there. You're gonna talk about if you're wearing a costume, share about your costume and what inspired you. And if you're not wearing a costume, you can also share what's like a best, worst Halloween memory that you have, okay? So magically, you're going to go into your breakout rooms now. These are my breakout room fingers, okay? You're gonna go to there, share about these questions, and we'll see you back here soon. Hey, everybody, welcome back. You should be coming back from your breakout sessions. I hope everybody had some good conversations. Yes. Awesome. All right.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. I think while we were away, our judges were judging, and I'm excited to find out who has won or who are our finalists. So I want to introduce our judges really quickly. Our judge captain is Dale Bennett. She's a graphic designer and expert crafter. She is perfect for being a judge. We can spotlight her video in a second. She can probably give us all a wave. Also want to thank Sarah Lawrence, our second judge, who is another graphic designer. We've partnered with her for years doing live infographics at Creative Mornings events. You've probably seen or interacted with her work before. So thank you, Sarah, for judging. And then last but not least, Jenny Wentling is a set designer. And for those that tuned in for April and May and June's Creative Mornings when we were live streaming in a studio, she built that beautiful set, that background. So she is an expert judge as well. So I would like to go over to our judge captain, Dale Bennett, to hear who has been narrowed down to our top 3 finalists. And then we're going to launch a poll and everyone will get to vote. Now, you're going to have to be a little patient with us because we want to try to spotlight the 3 finalists. So if you are called as a finalist, raise your hand, click that button, that little gray button on your participants panel to raise your hand so we can find you quickly and spotlight you and you can give a little wave. So I'll pass it over to Dale.
Good morning, everyone. This was a hard contest, but we were up for the task. So without further ado, here are our finalists. So we picked the couple that did Us, which is called, their tag name is Finding Dorian. So you guys did the Us movie, super scary. We also picked our Jurassic Park person, Josh BKR. You did a good job. I know you're on this call. I saw your background. And last but not least, drum roll, people, Moonrise Kingdom Squad. Those are our 3. You guys were great. Thanks for everyone who submitted an entry. They were quite funny and they did my heart. Look at Josh, look at you. Squad. I see you. I love it.
Where's your raptor?
Oh my God, yeah, where's your raptor? Because that really, oh my gosh. Yes, Moonrise. Oh, come on, Kingdom. Love your background. Very good.
We love it.
Yes. And the Finding Dorian people that did Us. Woo, that was pretty good. Pretty good. So these are 3. Good luck, everybody trying to vote because these are 3 good ones.
I want to see the third. Are they on the call?
I don't know if they're on the call, but they had submitted it on Instagram.
Yeah. Is that a rule?
It might be a rule. Do y'all have a 4th that we can go with?
Actually,
I'm making a judgment call right now.
Okay, yeah. I can make that call. We want to go with the 4th one?
Yes.
So there was a Wounded Bird by a man Connor.
Wounded Bird?
Another Moonrise Kingdom.
Yeah, from another Moonrise Kingdom. Was pretty good. It was super crafty. Hope you're on the call.
Raise your hand if you are.
Please raise your hand.
Bridget. Oh, yeah. Wait, Bridget Smith raised a hand. Is that? Let's
Oh,
highlight Bridget.
Yeah! Yeah! Oh my God, you didn't submit your girl. Come on. Yes.
Wow. Snuck in at the last minute.
Yes. Sleeper. She's a sleeper.
If you win the bike, you got to take me for a ride.
Oh, you have to take all those.
Haul me around. All right. I just messed up our polling by changing a finalist, but maybe Andrew's scrambling to get a poll going right now. Whenever you get it going, Andrew, why don't you launch it for everyone so we can vote?
Definitely scrambling. Give me 5 seconds.
Sorry, everyone. I wanted to see it. I wanted the people to see one of the finalists.
I love these backgrounds too.
Yeah. Any more comments, judges? What were you really looking for?
Definitely, they all had some handcrafted elements to the costumes. You guys definitely put time into these costumes.
Yep.
And you coordinated backdrops and set pieces. So those were 2 big points.
Yes. We were looking for the full package. The full package. The full package. Your background.
And then Robert, I think you made all your badges too on your jacket, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we got the vote going now. The poll is launched. Be sure to check it out. Select your favorite.
Yeah.
Yes. Look at those badges.
Oh
And
my
we
gosh.
liked your outdoor. We like the outdoor posing, like the movie set. That was really good. And Jurassic Park, we loved your doggy T-Rex. So what everyone, like all the little details that kind of help tell the story, because that's what this is all about. When you're dressing up, it's about telling a story. So I just love the creativity and the enthusiasm that everyone put in their pieces. But that's what we were really looking for. Who went the extra mile?
Yeah. Okay, everybody get your vote in quick before we end it. Only 80% have voted so far. We can see. We know if you're lost on the internet, not paying attention.
Yeah. This is a surprise.
This is a practice for next week. Make sure you vote.
That's right.
Today's the last day for early voting. So
Okay, I'm gonna give you 10 more seconds.
come on, guys. Vote, 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 vote. Ooh.
Last call, going once, going twice. I'm gonna end it. Okay, the winner is Wounded Bird with 42% of the vote. Wow. A comeback story. You've won a $100 gift card to Citizen Supply. Please DM us at Atlanta_CM for our Instagram to get details on how to get it to you. Second place. Oh, we have a tie for second place. Literally 29% and 29%.
Insane.
Jurassic Park and Moonrise Kingdom tied for second. Okay, tiebreaker. Dale, you're our judge captain. You get to choose Jurassic Park or Moonrise Kingdom. We don't have time for a runoff, sorry. Oh.
It's going to be Moonrise Kingdom.
Wow. Okay, close. Josh, you were close. Moonrise Kingdom, you get a $50 gift card to DoorDash. You can treat yourself, get some food. You don't even have to leave your house.
Kingdom sweet today.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry, Jurassic. I loved you too. We all did.
Everyone should see that the results to know we were not lying. Okay, let's keep going here. All right, thanks everybody for doing that. I want to give you a quick heads up for next month. November 20th is our event. It's a little bit earlier than typical in the month, but that's because of Thanksgiving. I am so excited about next month, y'all. We have a very special speaker who's coming. Her name is Kara Yar Khan. She is a disability advocate and TED Talk speaker. At age 30, she was diagnosed with a rare muscle wasting disease that leads to quadriplegia. And instead of it getting her down and quieting her, she has set off on a tear to raise awareness for disability, to break down barriers, to shatter discrimination, and inspire those that are disabled. She has a documentary coming out that is incredible. We're going to promote the trailer for it so you can see her, and you are not going to want to miss it. It is incredible. She is an amazingly powerful speaker. So get excited for that November 20th. And now it's time for the interview. So let's pass it back over to Amina and to Rebecca.
We are excited to have Rebecca Serna as our speaker today. 2019 Advocate of the Year by League of American Bicyclists, 2015 Woman of the Year, Women in Transportation Seminar, 2013 Advocate of the Year for the Alliance for Biking and Walking, and the Executive Director at Atlanta Bicycle Coalition. Rebecca lives in Southeast Atlanta with her husband and 3 sons. She loves to read, dance, grow food, and looks forward to the day, this is really great, when biking for transportation is unremarkable and everyone can move safely, easily, and sustainably throughout the city. Rebecca, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
So Rebecca, I want to start by asking you, what's your Atlanta story? Because we all have one. Were you born and raised here in Atlanta? Did you move to Atlanta? And if you moved here, what brought you here to Atlanta?
Yeah, I moved here. We moved here when I was a year old. Two main reasons. Number one, my dad heard Mayor Maynard Jackson speak at a conference and thought, I would like to go work under that administration. And so he ended up working for the city of Atlanta for his entire career. Reason number two, my mom really wanted to get out of Kentucky. I was born in Lexington, Kentucky. No offense if you're from Kentucky. So my Atlanta story, I was really formed by the DeKalb County public school system. I went to a magnet school that was created out of the desegregation ruling. So I had friends from all over the county. And then I went to Chamblee High School, which is really, really international. There are 22 languages spoken. And so those experiences, growing up in DeKalb County, where I still live today, I don't get out much, especially right now, but just been in DeKalb County, hanging out, riding MARTA.
This basically means I think you've fully earned your peach being here that long. You know, I'm just a little over 20 years. So I'm at least half my peach maybe, but I feel like you fully earned your peach. You've lived here most of your life, which is awesome. Okay, tell us about Atlanta Bicycle Coalition, because you are the second executive director. And since you have been in leadership, Atlanta Bicycle Coalition has made a shift to focus on modes of transportation, even beyond biking. So tell us more about that, and why was that shift important to you?
Yeah, it was really important to us because every time we work with communities, and that's a big focus for us. We were founded by people who were biking for transportation and felt like the city could do a better job at making that safe and easy, and really came out of the environmental movement at the time in the early 90s. But, you know, biking doesn't work for everyone. It doesn't work for every trip, although that Edison cargo bike goes a long way towards some of the challenges. And we just wanted to be able to come into communities, hear what the mobility challenges were, and then be able to address those more holistically. So if the issue that people felt was the most important was, hey, we have this bus stop and there's no shelter. So we're standing out in the rain. It's on a really busy street. It's unsafe to cross that street. There aren't sidewalks that connect to it. If I come in with, hey, here's a bike lane, it doesn't really address that need. Now, down the line, a bike lane can help you get to that bus stop, especially if you have to go further now that a lot of the bus routes have been cut due to COVID. But really just wanting to be responsive to community needs and wanting to form a more unified movement for sustainable transportation options throughout the city so that we could really integrate people who wanted to walk or bike or ride a scooter or skate or one wheel, ride the bus, ride the train, ride the streetcar, whatever it is. You're all using a more sustainable and more active mode that's really better for the city as a whole. And so how can we band together to be stronger and more effective advocates for these sustainable transportation options?
Oh, I love that. I love that. And one of the major initiatives of Atlanta Bicycle Coalition is Atlanta Streets Alive. For people who have never participated in Atlanta Streets Alive, can you give us an idea of sort of the vision behind that? Describe to us what Atlanta Streets Alive is like.
Sure. Well, we copied Atlanta Streets Alive from an open streets initiative in Bogota, Colombia, where I lived for a year and experienced every single weekend. They open up 75 kilometers of city streets for people to do whatever in the street from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we don't do quite that. We haven't achieved quite that level in Atlanta, but really our vision is that Atlanta Streets Alive shifts the culture towards more sustainable and active transportation modes by giving people a totally different experience of Atlanta streets. So if you're on, say, Peachtree Street or Lee Street in the West End on a typical day, and you're trying to cross the street, you're kind of nervous, fearing for your life that you're gonna get hit by a car. If you're biking on the street, you know, you're on high alert. But during Atlanta Streets Alive, you can actually experience the street. You can stop and chat with a neighbor that you run into. And it just is a whole different street culture. And so that's what we're really trying to amplify and give people the opportunity to just see our streets differently. So our next step with Streets Alive, it's on hold right now because of the pandemic, but our vision is how can we do this on a weekly basis? Because every time we do Streets Alive, people say, I want to do this every weekend, or I want to do this every day. And so we're working on a concept where we pilot 1 month of weekly Atlanta Streets Alive. I don't know exactly when we'll be able to do that, but we're looking at 2021 and hopeful that we'll be able to make that happen. And that's when you start to really get into changing people's habits too. If you do something a couple of times a year, that's not a habit. If you do it every week, okay, now we're getting somewhere.
I love that. We're definitely hopeful for when Atlanta Streets Alive is back and we're able to gather that way, because I've been, even since the pandemic, I've been just walking the cul-de-sac of my street. My street sort of ends in a cul-de-sac on both ends. And even just walking fully my street, I've seen more of my neighbors because I wasn't in my car leaving, or, you know, just going just to the house and that's all. But even walking around, getting to see some of my neighbors on their porch, and just, there's just a way when we are being transit in a different way than we're used to, that we get a chance to actually be in community with each other. So I'm sure I'm not alone in longing for when we can get back to that. Can you, speaking of this idea, I guess, of how we get into our own routine, right? My husband and I, we are a 2-car household. So when I think of transit, I'm thinking about what I'm doing. I'm normally just driving to and from, right? But when you are talking about transit, and what I think a part of what Atlanta Bicycle Coalition is helping us to learn is that transit is much bigger than just what our particular mode of comfort of transportation is. It's about equity and access as well. So why should all of us be concerned about transit or want transit to improve in our city?
Oh, there's so many reasons. I think a big one that motivates me to try to improve transit is that for so many people, transit is access to opportunity. So if you don't own a car, whether it's because you can't afford one or you don't drive or whatever the case may be, that transit is absolutely essential for you to be able to get to school or to work or the grocery store or wherever it is. Growing up, I was in a 1-car family, and my dad rode MARTA bus route 33 Briarcliff home from work every day. So I always had a positive association. You know, Daddy saw him, he's getting off the bus. And I just want more people to have that, because my reason number 2 is I think that transit makes cities better. If we have to dedicate so much space to cars, that's a lot of space that we're missing out on. Cities are supposed to be about spaces where people can convene. And when you convene in your car, it's called traffic, and it's not fun. But when you can get out of your car and convene with people, and I think this whole pandemic has really brought home to all of us how much we want to be together, then that's what makes cities great. It's the running into people factor, and not literally running into them by crashing in cars, which is what we have too much of right now. And transit equity really is a civil rights issue. People have a right to access to transit and transportation options. When we have good, high quality transit, it can start to address a lot of the inequities that we have in society. That's why I think it's so important that we invest in transit. And then final top 3 reason for me, and sometimes this is number 1, you know, in a few years, this will be number 1, is climate. We have to get out of our habit of driving everywhere if we're ever going to address climate change and try to put a halt to it. And so transit has the potential to be one of the biggest factors. When you look at the transportation part of our economy, that's a huge contributor to climate.
I want to also ask you, when I think a big part of Creative Mornings community here in Atlanta is wanting all of us to be better citizens in our city, wanting to make sure that we are really thinking about what are the things that make our city more accessible, make our city more equitable for people. What are suggestions you would give to us that we can be doing to better support transit in Atlanta?
Okay, I have 5 things. Number 1, if you're driving everywhere, think about a trip you make regularly that is under 2 miles and try to start making that trip by some other mode. walking, biking, scooting. I saw unicycle in here. If you can do that, great, more power to you. So that's one thing. And you don't have to do it every time, but give it a try, figure out that route, you'll get more confident. Number two, support affordable housing initiatives, particularly around transit, because when we can combine affordable housing and public transportation, everything works better. It actually reduces traffic if you are driving for longer trips. But a lot of times people oppose higher density housing in their communities for a lot of reasons I won't get into, but some of them are really bad. And so just support affordable housing and density of housing in your community. Number three, if you're really interested and you want to get more involved, join your neighborhood transportation committee. We have a program called Community Advocates for Safe Streets. It's on our website, atlantabike.org. I'll put it in the link. So Community Advocates for Safe Streets, you can join this network of people that are really trying to improve transportation at the hyper-local level in your community, on your street. And you don't have to be an expert on transportation, you just have to be an expert on your community. And then reason number four, is this five? This is four. Share your story with us. We worked with Luke Beard on a website. If you go to stories.atlantabike.org, we're really looking for the stories of people who maybe you're biking more during the pandemic because you just want to get outside and you're not going to the gym. We would really love to hear from you. And I know there are a lot of creative people on this call that could provide some really great stories. And I saw a comment in the chat, you know, if it's people doing this thing that you know and that you can relate to, it just makes it something that you're more likely to consider. So you can start to contribute to that culture shift. And then five is if transit is on the ballot, if funding for transit is on the ballot, make sure you vote for that. So Gwinnett County has the opportunity to vote for transit. And I'm really hopeful that we'll have more transit ballot initiatives in the near future in Metro Atlanta.
Rebecca, oh my gosh, you've given us so much to not just think about, but to do. You've given us some great action steps. So thank you, thank you. We want to open for questions now. If you have questions you would love to ask Rebecca, you want to talk about transit, you want to talk about Atlanta Bicycle Coalition, you want to talk about ways we can continue to make transit more equitable in our city, we would love to get your questions. So if you can make sure you raise your hand like we practiced here inside of Zoom, and then we can highlight your video and get a chance to hear from you. So we'd love to get your questions if anybody has any. Okay, I see a couple raised hands coming up there.
Here we go.
I think we can hear you now. What's your question? Oh, wait.
No.
Now.
Still muted, Noel. There you go.
There we go.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, Rebecca and everyone. Enjoying the presentation. Rebecca, do you have a sense of when Streets Alive will be able to return?
So there's a guy who every time we send out the newsletter, he just writes back, when Streets Alive? So I did expect this question. It's so hard to predict. You know, we're following the city on this, and I think the city is really prioritizing public safety. So we appreciate that. As soon as we're able to submit a permit, we will. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to do it in 2021, but you know, 2022 is the new 2021, so we'll see.
Thank you. Next question.
Hey, Rebecca. I thought you would be the best person to ask, what is up with DeKalb Avenue? And when, is there any Complete Streets news that you could share with us?
Yes. I live really close to DeKalb, so I'm kind of obsessed with it too. And we've been advocating for changes to DeKalb Avenue for, I think, 7 years now, which if you want to get into transportation advocacy, you better be patient. But the construction date is on the Renew Atlanta website. It's listed as, I believe, December of this year. And the design for DeKalb that ended up being the final plan, we didn't get everything we wanted, but we did get a protected bike lane / scoot lane / whatever you want to do lane, approximately between 2 of the MARTA stations. One challenge we ran into is it doesn't quite reach the Candler Park Edgewood MARTA station, the Candler Park MARTA station, because of some constraints with the street, but we're still working on getting those final 2 blocks. And then there'll be a couple of sections of the project that add a short bike lane section. So for example, between Arizona and Clifton, there'll be a short bike lane there, which sounds kind of silly, but it's actually really helpful if you think about what a barrier DeKalb is to getting places. That will allow you to cross between south and north of the tracks a little bit more easily. So stay tuned for that. It'll also be a resurfacing, and there'll be sidewalk improvements. The sidewalk environment along DeKalb is probably the worst part of it today. We can argue about whether that's worse or the potholes, but I'm really looking forward to having better sidewalks along DeKalb too.
Great, thank you. Chris, looks like our next question asker.
Morning, y'all. So I just had a question. I don't know how the Gwinnett vote is supposed to go. I mean, I think more transportation is better, but when a neighborhood or county or whatever says no, and we all know that it's probably better if we all kind of expand, is it better to try to work on that county that said no and just keep going after them until they figure it out and say yes? Or is it better to go somewhere else and show them, hey, this works over here, and eventually they come around?
Good question. I'm a stick it out kind of person. I think you can make the biggest contribution in the place that you already are. You know the people, you know the environment, and sometimes these things take several votes. I mean, other metro areas around the country have shown that, you know, they might try and fail on a big transit funding ballot initiative and then try again and get it passed. So I think in Gwinnett, if you're speaking specifically to that, Gwinnett has so much potential for transit. Just the international community, which doesn't have full access to the vote, but eventually will. And I think that'll make a big difference. And then just the proximity, and then the traffic and everything else. But the land use in Gwinnett and other suburban counties does make transit a little bit more challenging to make effective and efficient. But I think you're starting to see the density and the population numbers in Gwinnett. I'm really hopeful that this time it's going to pass.
Mike Martin is our next question. Mike, what you got?
So what do you think about the BRT model? And this does apply to Gwinnett Bus Rapid Transit for those who aren't familiar with the acronym, where instead of putting costly rail up, we essentially use our streets, and we create what's like a train on tires, which they're going to do. My understanding is that, you know, the vote in Gwinnett, that's a big option, as well as Up 400, which is in desperate need of better access beyond just the MARTA train. What do you think about that model?
Huge fan of Bus Rapid Transit. I think it's a great way to build out high quality transit more quickly and actually be able to have transit for this generation, as opposed to 3 generations down the line. Nothing against the big investments in rail. They're amazing. They're really transformative for metro areas, but you can do Bus Rapid Transit a lot faster. And the experience of it is really similar to rail. I think it's the fixed investment, having the stations, and then dedicated lanes. You've got to have those for Bus Rapid Transit. Sometimes it gets watered down into something like Bus Rapid Transit. Dedicated lanes for transit is so important. It shows a clear priority. And then high frequency. You should just be able to go there and not look at the schedule. So that's pretty essential. If you think about the difference between riding the bus in Atlanta versus riding the train in Atlanta on a weekday during peak times, you don't really think about when's the next train going to come so much. But you do go and look at that bus schedule because it might come only once every 45 minutes. When I lived in Bogota in Colombia, I was there to study public participation in transit planning. And Transmilenio is just really amazing. They made a fantastic investment in that system, and it made life easier for a lot of people.
Okay, we're going to take 2 more questions. Jennifer Spivey is next.
Hi guys, sorry I'm not on camera. I cannot be today. My quick question, a really easy question. I have two. The first one is there a place we can go and find out about what is going on in our neighborhood? I live off Piedmont and North Avenue, and there was supposed to be some traffic calming stuff there. And then my second question is the Buford Highway corridor. I'm really, really concerned. I'm in commercial real estate, and commercial investors are chomping at the bit to redevelop the Buford Highway corridor into another Brookhaven. And when they do that, all affordability and the reason we love Buford Highway is gone.
So first part of your question, where to find out what's going on in your neighborhood association is going to be the best place for that. But also, if you want to find out about transportation projects, I would follow ATL DOT on Twitter. They post a lot of updates, and they're very responsive if you want to ask them about specific projects. We're also working on a project tracking tool, and the city hopefully will develop this in-house at some point. They do have it for the Renew Atlanta and T-SPLOS programs, and I'll post that link in the chat as well. On Buford Highway and some of the pressures, I'm really concerned about that too, because Buford Highway is really important to me. I mentioned I went to Chamblee High School, and just Buford Highway is everything. So I really appreciate the work of groups like We Love BuHi and others who have done a lot to elevate the many contributions that immigrant-owned businesses and the people who live on Buford Highway have made to Atlanta culture as a whole. And so I don't really have a great answer for you there, but I hear your concern. I will say Buford Highway Transit continues to get better. And I think we'll see continued improvement if you look at what the ATL's plans are for Buford Highway. It's one of the best rapid transit routes that's proposed, along with some of the other transit options along the corridor. So maybe transportation could be the key to maintaining the Buford Highway that we know and love.
Last question for you, Rebecca, is from Georgia. Georgia, what you got?
I just wanted to ask, do scooters figure at all in your advocacy, or should we expect them to return in full force?
The City of Atlanta updated their permitting process for scooters. So there are fewer scooter companies operating, and that allows them to have better communication when there are challenges that pop up with the scooters. They're definitely part of what we're advocating for, in that they're part of an overall transportation network. We think that they need access to the bike lane. That's why I said bike scoot lane earlier, because when they're used on the sidewalk, they present a barrier to people walking and people in wheelchairs. So we really need to make the streets safer so that small wheeled vehicles like bikes and scooters can have that place and be able to replace some car trips.
Rebecca, thank you for sharing so much good knowledge and good accountability for us, things that we can do to help make our city more accessible. Make sure that you all go to the website for Atlanta Bicycle Coalition. You can follow them at Atlanta Bike on Instagram. You can go to the website atlantabike.org to find out all the latest things. Drum roll, please. We are now going to find out who is the winner of this bike. Blake, what do you have for us?
I have a very special randomizer technology that is official. Ready? And, oh, we have a winner. I don't know if she's on the call, which I'm a little sad about. Eileen Roche. Eileen Roche. Eileen Dover. Eileen Roche. Eileen Roche. You want a bike? Come on, anybody know Eileen Roche? If so, give a little like round of applause. Sorry for those that won the costume contest. I was cheering for you, but Eileen Roche has won. I think now we're at time, so let's go ahead and wrap it up, and let's do a little dance outro. Mina, what do you think?
I think we should. So everyone, I know you haven't been able to go to the club. Hopefully you haven't. Anyway, so this is your time, okay? This is your time. You're gonna do some dancing, some chair dancing. move some shoulders if you got it. We will see you all next month. Andrew, you're our DJ.
Strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! If there's something weird and it don't look good, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Afraid of no ghosts. If you're seeing things running through your head, who can you call? Ghostbusters! An invisible man sleeping in your bed. Oh, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!